There is no black and white as far as nakshatras are concerned, and there is no black and white as far as human beings are concerned, because no man is born as a saint and no man is born as a sinner. Life is a journey. If consciousness is greater, then a saint is in the making. A Buddha is in the making. If consciousness is absent, then a sinner is in the making. A Hitler is in the making. Always remember, a saint can fall and a sinner can rise. There is no hard and fast rule. There is no black and white story. It all depends on the level of your consciousness. It all depends on the level of your awareness. And so, it is not a good idea to categorize any nakshatra as completely bad or completely good, because there is no black and white story. In this podcast, I will be sharing many such insights that will help you realize the true essence of nakshatra. So let's begin. What is a nakshatra? Nakshatra is a specific type of cosmic energy. The universe is vast and energies are primarily of three types: sattvic, that is positive, godly, tolerant. The second type is rajas, pleasure seeking, royal, and the third type is tamas, negative, base level, intolerance. The nakshatras simply specify one of these three energy types. Either the nakshatra is sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic. All 27 nakshatras is a fusion of these three energies with one of the energy type in prominence. There is no black and white story as long as the nakshatra is concerned, and there is no black and white story as far as human beings are concerned, because no man on this planet is born as a saint or born as a sinner. Life is a journey. If consciousness is greater, a saint is in the making. A Buddha is in the making. If consciousness is absent, a sinner is in the making. A Hitler is in the making. A saint can fall, a sinner can rise. There is no hard and fast rule. There is no black and white story, because every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. But ignorant men and women, especially less evolved souls, label the nakshatras as good or bad, just to create fear, because unless fear is created, how will you open up your wallet or purse to pay? So first fear is created, only then you will spend money. Fear sells faster than faith. And that is the tragedy of human life, because in general, less evolved souls are too much fearful, and incidentally they are in majority. So Pandits and looters find it easy to make money by first labeling what is good and what is bad. In reality, everything is useful, everything is beautiful in God's existence. Bhagwan Raman Maharshi, one of the greatest spiritual masters, says, there is nothing wrong with God's creation. Mystery and suffering only exist in the mind. Mind talks, the heart simply listens. Mind sees, the heart simply feels. You see through your mind, you never see through your heart, and that is how you go on missing the truths because the mind is a monkey, a mecca of illusions. The heart is real. God dwells in your heart. Meditation is a journey from mind towards your heart. A meditative man speaks less, listens more, thinks less, meditates more. Always remember, the Bhagavan says that the degree of freedom from unwanted thoughts and the degree of concentration on a single thought are the measures to gauge your spiritual progress. This single thought that the Bhagavan mentions is the thought of the Lord, your Master, His holy name. How deep and how beautiful is this! I have always loved this old man. He is truly the Bhagavan, Bhagavan Raman Maharshi, and he shares so many treasures of life and so compassionately that Bhagavan Raman Maharshi is probably the only man after centuries who have been so candid in sharing the many beautiful moments of a meditative life. I humbly salute to His Holiness Bhagavan Raman Maharshi. People have all kinds of issues and matters, from sex to suicide, almost everything, and yet they never realize that the problem is the mind, and the mind is the world, and no mind is the freedom from the world and beginning of a joyful life. It is difficult, hard, but the truth is always hard. If you can accept the truth, you have all the possibility to move on, but in reality, very few are able to go beyond the mind because very few realize and accept the fact that it is the mind that first have to be conquered, enslaved. In the larger interest of all my listeners and close followers, I would like to repeat again and again that no nakshatra is bad or evil. Always remember that electricity is generated only by the mixing of the positive and the negative. You cannot create electricity with only the positive pole. You will need the negative pole too. Only with both the negative and the positive pole can you create electricity. So, is the negative absolutely negative? No, it is not. It is complementary, so it is not against positive. The philosophy of positive thinking means being untruthful. It means being dishonest. It means seeing a certain thing and yet denying what you have seen. It means deceiving yourself and others. Nakshatra can be negative, but not necessarily it should be labeled as bad, because it can also become an asset to an individual. It also can create electricity. As mentioned above, out of all the three types of gunas or energies that this universe is made of, that is tamas, rajas and sattvic, the tamas energy or quality is the negative energy. Primarily all nakshatras ruled by Mars, Saturn, Rahu and Ketu are in general negative in nature. But then, can we have a society that exists without having soldiers, without having policemen, without having politicians? Fighters are required, and so nakshatras ruled by Mars, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu are not common nakshatras. They have a lot of depth and intensity within. So don't underestimate the Mula nakshatra. Don't underestimate the Dhanishta nakshatra. Don't underestimate Pushya, Adra, Magha nakshatras. In fact, Magha is the largest, the mightiest nakshatra of all. It is addressed as the seat of power, real power. And so again I repeat, only with both the negative and the positive pole can you create electricity. You need both types of players in your team, only then can you win. Ashlesha, on the other side, is much soft. Generally, good doctors are born on this nakshatra. It has the power to suck the poison out and heal. And so it is a positive nakshatra, especially if Mercury is placed well in the ascendant chart. Healers, consultants, newspaper journalists, news anchors, for all kind of these professions, Ashlesha is an apt nakshatra. There is an indication of black magic specific issues for Ashlesha nakshatra more than any other nakshatra in the zodiac of Cancer. Either the person is a victim of black magic or he takes interest in black magic to cause harm to others or to meet his or her self interest. A typically emotionally vulnerable person is what is seen through the Ashlesha moon. These men are revengeful and generally they never forgive. One has to understand that the nakshatra of moon will provide you with the mentality or mindset of the person, while the nakshatra of the ascendant will provide you with the nature of the person. Example, Magha rising on ascendant gives a hot-tempered native. That is his nature, swabhav, can't help. It can't change. You all know the story of Durvas Rishi. He was a great saint, but also he was very short-tempered. So nature is nature, swabhav is swabhav. You cannot change the swabhav. You cannot change the nature. Nature has no medicine. It cannot be cured because it is nature. It is natural. But the Magha moon is totally a different story. Magha moon gives a mind that has no direction. It is directionless since it is ruled by Ketu. And so it goes on flowing just the way a rock goes on flowing through the river. It just does not know where it is going, always confused, and also no idea of what all is going around him or her. Magha moon man thinks that he is a king, but that is just the thinking. There is no reality to it. While Magha ascendant man has no reason to think that he is the king because he is the king. So ascendant nakshatra is the real self, the real you. While moon nakshatra is what you think you are, or what you think you should be, or what you aim to become, there is no reality to it. It is likely that the majority of you may not like my answer, but those who have been following me for a while know very well that I rarely share because likes are of the mind and the mind is a monkey. It is only the heart that can resonate, can love for no reason, and that is true love. Love has no reason to love. Always remember this. You love only when there is no logic, only when there is no agenda. Love has no agenda. But like has, the mind has. Like is of the mind. Whenever someone says, I like you, the mind is saying it and not the heart. The so-called sensible, pragmatic men and women of this human world first rely on like. They say, first you like someone, then you love. This is how the mind is cunning. First it will calculate, then if the calculations fall in favor, then it will like, and then it goes on to love. Such a love is a manufactured love. There is no naturality to it. It is a staged love and not real. In real love, there is absolutely no chance to think, to calculate. There is no time to apply any logic, to apply any mind. You simply love. Your heart resonates and you simply jump into the unknown. That's love. True love. It is spontaneous. And because it is spontaneous, it is true. It is beautiful. And true love is willing to sacrifice. There is no agenda. There is absolutely no thought of finding out any scope or any purpose. You simply love. When you love, you simply love. And that is how life should be, full of love. A time should come in everybody's life when you are no more falling in love, but you are love. Falling in love, you remain a child. Rising in love, you mature. By and by, love becomes not a relationship, it becomes a state of your being. Not that you are in love, now you are love. Falling in love is biological, rising in love is something spiritual. Love should come from your silence, your meditativeness. To love is to give freedom to each other. When love grows deeper, freedom becomes bigger. And as you love deeper and deeper, you start accepting the person you love the way he or she is. If you love a person, you accept the total person with all the defects because those defects are a part of the person. Never try to change a person you love because the very effort to change says that you love half and the other half of the person is not accepted. When you love, you simply love. It always happens. First you love and then you demand change. It simply means that your love is not a full circle because you have accepted only the half of the person you love and the remaining half you are not willing to accept. You want to change the person. Love never demands any change. Love accepts everything without any demands, any complaints, and any resentments. A young man asked, "What exactly is love?" And the answer that the master gave is very significant. The master says, there are as many loves as there are people. Love is a hierarchy from the lowest rung to the highest, from sex to super consciousness. There are many layers, many planes of love. It all depends on you. If you are existing on the lowest rung, you will have a totally different idea of love than the person who is existing on the highest rung. Adolf Hitler will have one idea of love, Gautam Buddha the another. And they will be diametrically opposite because they are at two extremes. This young man who asked this question must be of Ashlesha Nakshatra. Mercurians cannot understand love because they are so much in the head, and head can never understand love. Logic and love are two ends that can never meet. You can either love or you can either go on scratching your head. You either love or you either apply logic. One has to drop for the other to survive. And that is why love marriage rarely survives, because marriage is a deal between two families. It has a logic to it. It has all the calculations to it. So now tell me, how can love survive in a marriage? A deal, because marriage is a deal. That is why the family courts across the world have divorce cases more of marriages that were made out of love. Maximum divorces happen in love marriages than arranged marriages for the simple reason that love cannot survive in deals, hard deals that are sealed by the stamp of logic. Arranged marriages are purely logic based deals. There is absolutely no instance of love involved. Two parties meet, the man and the woman. They do a lot of brainstorming. All kinds of logical questions are asked, evaluated, judged, and then a final deal is signed, which is called marriage. Arranged marriage. Love cannot be arranged. It is not politics. Arranged marriages stay for long. The head remains for long. The logic remains for long because everything has been closely calculated. Love marriage rarely stays for long, and yet every moment that they lived together had been the moment of wild, wild love. And for love, only a single moment is enough. Two hearts meet, melt, celebrate. And so, even though love marriages may not survive for long, who cares? The lovers are happy to be in the moment of love. Who cares for the future and who cares for the past? One moment of love is equal to the whole eternity. A single moment of love is equal to the whole eternity of love. Always remember this. I am all for love, and you all should also be for love. For love is our mother. We are born out of love. The great Sufi saint Rumi says, love is the soul's light. And so through this podcast, I appeal to you all, to all my close followers and listeners. Move away from logic and move towards love. For life is less of logic and more of love. So love, but love something that is higher, something that is superb, something that can take you towards the beyond. Always remember, if you are to love, then love something of the divine, something superb, something that transcends things, something that transcends forms. If you can grow in love, you will grow in awareness. And if you grow in awareness, you will grow in love. Love is the solution. A wise man can love. He has the potential to love simply because he has dropped all his learnings and all his knowledge. A knowledgeable man, a pandit, a scholar cannot love. He is too much in his head, and the head cannot love. Head is happy to accumulate knowledge, but knowledge cannot complete you. You remain thirsty. This thirst never is satisfied unless and until you start moving from the head towards your heart. Guarding knowledge is not a good way to understand. Understanding means to throw away your knowledge. Gautam Buddha says, true love is born out of understanding. Get over all of these houses, stars, nakshatras, yogas. Rise above all and come to the melting point where understanding becomes the only law of your life. So come you all. You all have been going through a lot of difficult phases of life. But don't let those low phases of your life divert you away from the abode of love. For love is the only answer to all your questions. To love, you need tremendous courage. Cowards commit suicide. Courageous and conscious souls overcome all the difficulties of their life by focusing on love. They share love, They forgive, they let go, they accept, and that is how they progress inside out. Love can take you everywhere, and you will be able to realize this truth only when you turn inward and help each other to become more and more meditative. There is no other miracle in this world than meditation. It is the only science that can transform you into a new person. So remember to meditate every day. And when you meditate, focus on your breathing. Chant the name of the Holy Lord. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. 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 Focus on chanting the name of the Lord and you will find the way. Always remember, in the beginning, the battle is difficult, but as you continue to fight, as you continue to show courage, you start winning the battle. And that is how you should be. You should never give up. You should continue to meditate. You should continue to chant the name of the Holy Lord. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Jai Sri Ganesha. Jai Guru.